Alright, fellow sleuths, time for the final episode of the day, which is actually the Lady of Larkspur Lane, not Larkspur Lane. Sorry about the confusion, I messed up. So, yeah, anyway, let's take a look at the Lady of Larkspur Lane. Anyway, Nancy is determined to talk to Patrice Dodd in the aftermath of her discovery that Lucy may have been afraid of her mother at the end of her life. But the woman now has dementia and recently suffered a stroke and now lives at a mental institution where only family can visit. Her son doesn't want to upset her and refuses to interview her, which leaves Nancy to take matters into her own hands. As usual. Bess goes to meet a business acquaintance of her aunt's for lunch, hoping to get valuable networking time with a potential mentor. But Bess finds herself on a double date with Amaya, the businesswoman the Marvins want to set her up with. It's pretty uncomfortable, as it's made clear that Amaya sees Bess as a way to close the deal with the two businessmen meeting with them, and not as someone to be mentored. Nancy, George, and Nick head to the asylum to talk to Mrs. Dodd. As they formulate a plan, it comes out that Nick has helped George buy the claw, which definitely rubs Nancy the wrong way. Meanwhile, Carson calls Ace for help, hoping to reach Nancy. The hit the Hudson's called on him is happening soon, and he needs outside help with this one. Ace decides he's going to have to handle this himself since Nancy is currently trapped in a parallel dimension and thus lacks reliable cell service. He marches right over to the yacht club where Ryan Hudson is. It's also where Bess is currently on her business date. Ace asks Ryan to call off the hit, but Ryan says the only way to save Carson now is to get him out of prison. Ace interrupts Bess to ask her to appeal to Ryan, knowing that she's helped influence him toward the good side before. This intrigues Amaya, who now sees Bess as more than just a prop to help her get the deal. They seek at the hospital and George distracts the guards as Nancy snoops in Miss Dodd's file. Nick goes to steal some visitor passes, but notices strange black mold spreading through the hospital. Signal place Sirius has something wrong with it. Before Nick can get to Nancy, a worker notices her and asks what she's doing there. Thinking quickly, she tells him she's a reporter looking to do a story on what's happening at the asylum. By the explanation, the aide tells her all about the hauntings at the asylum, which started after the seance where Nancy accidentally released all the ghosts into Horseshoe Bay. Ace has come up with an outlandish plan to save Carson since he's unable to reach Nancy. Using his skills as a hacker, he arranges transfer to state prison for Carson. Carson is raised at the serendipity of this, unaware that Ace hacked into the system. When he's loaded into the van for transport, Ace is the driver. He impersonates a police officer and broke Carson out of prison. Carson, realizing now that maybe his daughter's lovable hacker friend wasn't the best person to trust his rescue to, lists of many crimes Ace has just committed, but Ace doesn't care as the alternate is letting Carson get killed. It turns out Ace is taking Carson to his own home to essentially wait for Nancy to show up with a better plan, which Carson facepalms at. Nancy is able to get away from the orderly and finds Lucy's mom, who's in bad shape. She thinks it's still 1999, and specifically the Friday before Lucy's murder. She also thinks Nancy is Kate Drew. Patrice isn't able to speak in full sentences, but manages to reveal that someone else has also been questioning her recently. She also says she had the key to Lucy's secret in the Thin Man's book. With that, she suddenly remembers that her daughter was murdered and screams at Nancy gets right out of there. When she tells Nick and George about Patrice's rantings, Nick notes that the short passages she was speaking are in Psalms. The Thin Man's book could be the Bible. Nancy saw this thin man as a ghost and theorizes that she must mean his Bible. At the Drew home, cops are surrounding it. Since this is framed as a hostage situation, Karen's called in to negotiate with Ace. Ace tells her to check the security tapes of the prison, since it will prove that Carson was in imminent danger. When you look at the footage, it is also conveniently angled in a way that there's no evidence of the hit. Now, Ace is stuck. But Bess comes through by calling in a Marvin family favor of Ryan after some encouragement from Amaya. Ryan sends Ace an audio file that not only confirms the hit, but also the identity of the inmates sent to attack Carson. This evidence gets Carson released until his trial for his own safety. Amaya also helps by using her connections to make the charge against Ace go away. Celia Hudson texts Ryan, telling him that she knows what he did and isn't pleased. It reveals that the ghost was Mr. Roper, the former owner of the home turned asylum, who apparently murdered his own family. Nancy learns that their bodies were found in East Wing and goes to check it out. Nancy finds the room, which creeps her out as the Bible is found, which contains the key card. But as Nancy goes to leave, the door vanishes. The room begins to fill with cockroaches as Nancy passes out. Uh-oh. Yeah, get back here. There we go, okay. Nick and George wait in the lobby for Nancy and have a chance to chat about their new business venture. Dick acknowledges that he might have been overzealous before, and it seems they are now on the same page. Nick and George are forced to leave the building in a fire drill, and it turns out that the lady they spoke to earlier was actually a patient posing as a staff member. Nancy wakes up in an alternate reality version of her home where both her parents are alive and well. Nancy is overjoyed by this. It says Nancy is overjoyed by this. Nancy overjoyed by this doesn't notice the cockroaches everywhere. Dun dun dun. So overall, I think this episode is kind of interesting, and yeah, and yeah, just the fact that Nancy wakes up in this alternate reality. Well, we'll see how long that lasts in the next episode. So yeah. So overall, I give The Lady of Larkspur Lane 5 Deer Stalkers out of 5. Well, anyway, tune in tomorrow as we take the next episode, The Whisper Box. So, until then, remember everyone, the game's afoot.